Red Sox arriving for work on a Friday morning. It is Valentine's Day, and you love to see Rafael Devers walking in this morning. Got back yesterday. He's been here early for a couple of weeks. Went home to be with family for a couple of days. Now he's back as the position players are rolling in, and the pitchers and catchers continue their full workouts. Duran got here to get an early start. He's ready to go. We'll talk to him and hear from him in just a little bit as he looks forward to a season building upon an all-star appearance. MVP of that all-star game, as we know, a Gold Glove finalist, as the Red Sox outfield was really good defensively. But plenty to talk about here as we get ready and welcome you live to 310 to Left, presented by your New England Ford dealers. Tom Caron along with Liam Merloni. Listen, I know nobody wants to hear it, but a little cloud cover, a little breeze just came through. It's 85, but the wind chill, it's like 82.
I don't like overcast, okay, personally, right now. And it's not blue skies, so I'm getting greedy, okay, just like this team is right now. But I like to see a little more sun, a little chilly.
Yeah, as people are coming in from shoveling back home, they do not want to hear this right now. I think it's Dan Shaughnessy who wrote it. The Red Sox are back.
Yeah.
And that's 24 hours later. That's kind of the feeling. Like, you listen to national talk shows, you listen to baseball talk shows, and that Alex Bregman move has taken them from an improved team to now being one of the better teams in the American League.
Yeah, and it seems like the fan base just wanted to see it, right? You just want to see it again. Like, the Crochet deal was fantastic, right? You brought in an ace. Let's see if they can extend him. But a lot of people point to, okay, it's still not a big signing. Like, they haven't gone out and signed anybody. So this is the first guy that actually what's his name again?
Scott
Craig
Boras?
Breslow.
Scott Boras.
No, but Brez has finally signed the bat,
yes,
right, for like multi-years. And I think Sox fans were just wondering if they were in this game again. Are we a middle market team? Are we a big market team? Now, listen, they're not spending $300 million, but I think a lot of people needed to see the signing of Alex Bregman.
And to reset, still no official word from the team as we sit here.
Yeah.
We talked about this yesterday. These things are pending physicals. They are pending medical evaluations, all of that. You're going to spend $120 million on a player. You're going to take your time and look at all the imaging. So that's happening now from what we're told, that they are going through the process of getting the medicals clear. They hope that he will be here sooner rather than later. They can announce that as we wait for that. But what it does is kind of completes an offseason that saw them revamp the starting rotation, improve on the bullpen, and now put an impact bat in the middle of the lineup.
And it also goes to show you that the offseason's getting longer and longer, right? And we've seen it in the past. There's still quality players out there in the free agent market as you walk in here in spring training. Position players will be here Monday. They got this thing done before that. But a lot of people want it done. This isn't NFL free agency, right? Day one, why haven't we signed everybody? Baseball, unfortunately, and listen, I'm not a fan of it either, it goes and it goes. Like, once it opens, it's just nothing for like a month, and still you can get a great player like this in the middle of February.
The Yankees were the team to beat.
Yeah.
They went to the World Series last year, and obviously Max Fried, a couple of other position players, but the Max Fried addition specifically is going to help their pitching a ton. Are the Red Sox going to be able to rival the Yankees, at least on paper, with talent?
Yeah, I think they can. But again, it's far from over, right? We don't know. There's still some guys out there. You look back at Arenado, where does he end up? Kind of a nice fit with the Yankees. So you don't know what the Baltimore Orioles do, right? I mean, you lose Burns, but Dylan Cease could be moved. That's actually a nice fit there. So we still don't know. As we sit here right now, I'd say, yeah, the Boston Red Sox right now are competing for the AL East with the Yankees.
And you still want a bullpen arm here?
Well, let's get greedy.
Let's
I want a little
go.
bullpen, maybe some catcher depth. We're here. Why not?
You don't just need one pig. You can have like a farm.
I'm trying to build a pig pen. Okay, that's what I'm trying to do right now.
I like that. Alex Cora joined us last night on Red Sox from Fort Myers. He sat here, and while officially he wasn't ready to say anything about Alex Bregman being on the Red Sox yet because the deal is not official, he was more than willing to talk about who Alex Bregman is, their time together in Houston, and what he can bring to a baseball team.
I've been around some good players, and guys that are baseball rats. That they enjoy the game, they play the game the right way. They're superstars, right? And I think the comp will be Dustin Pedroia, to be honest with you. Being around Pedroia throughout my career, and then being around Alex in 17. These guys they eat breakfast, they talk baseball, lunch is baseball, and dinner too. And if there's a snack in between too, they'll do that. So he's a guy that he has a lot of passion for it. He wants to be great. Those guys, when you talk about those to those guys, they're thinking Cooperstown, right? How they accomplish that is showing up every day, go about their routines, and dominate the game, and that's what Alex have done throughout his career.
In 2018, you guys brought in J.D. Martinez, and when he kind of be aggressive on the first pitch, there was a mentality up and down that lineup. What would it mean to bring in a veteran who believes in contact, not swinging and missing, making contact? How does that affect the rest of your lineup?
I think hitting's contagious, right? And we've been through phases, right, since 2018 here. I recognized in 17, or we recognized in 17, that it was a very passive team. So in the playoffs, it was get ahead, against Sander and Mookie, and then expand later on, right? And we talk about it. We needed to be more aggressive. Some of them bought into it, others didn't. Mookie's still not swinging the first pitch, but little by little, you get JD here. They bought into the concept of doing damage on certain pitches, driving the ball, and you saw what happens. That happened through four more years, and then JT comes here, Justin Turner, and it was a different mentality, and I think it fit the group too, because it's not about just bringing a guy just to bring a guy, right? It's kind of like what we need as an organization, what we need as a group to improve, and I think guys like Alex, Mookie right now, the willingness to take the backside, right, to go the other way with 2 strikes. We saw it in the World Series. Mookie Betts, with 2 strikes, he shoot the ball the other way. They didn't strike out, so it helps. I think conversations is something that our group, they do a good job, but we can do better. And understanding where we at, we're not gonna get older, we're gonna get younger, right? And having a voice, to help those kids to become the big leaguers that we envision is always helpful.
Schwarber was another guy like that, 21.
I still remember we talk about it, right? It was Yarbrough, in the first meeting, and we're going about the fastball and this and that, It felt like we were talking about the best lefty in the history of the game, and he's like, "Bro, this guy is not good. Let's go get him. Let's go." And we did. We actually did.
So you guys have great hitting coaches, infield instructors. You're an infielder as well. But I say this a lot. I was wondering if you could explain it in your own words why it means more coming from a peer than it does from a coach.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, we can talk about culture, and Alex is a player-friendly manager and all that. There's always a line, and. For how much I would love to go into the clubhouse and be the guy and just let them know, I understand that there's a separation, right? And I think having somebody that you can talk, relate, and what you're feeling, how you see it, and it's very important. I haven't seen a fastball in a while. I saw a fastball last year in the alumni game. I swung a miss. So just having those conversations is very important. As you guys know, and you see it, you see this whole thing, like TrackMan and the TVs and everything that comes with the new game, right? But at the end of the day, it's a field game. You have to feel it, right? And when you have conversations, you can be better. And veterans are needed. Let's put it that way.
All right, so we can look at the resume. We can talk about the right-handed swing at Fenway Park. If you're the Boston Red Sox, if you're Pete Fatsi, if you're the hitting group, what are you looking for from Alex Bregman?
Well, just the kind of the discussions and the approach at the plate. Okay, this team struck out second most times in all of baseball last year. They didn't make enough contact. And I was talking with Fatsi the offseason. Really, there's a lot of plans, a lot of drills put in place talking about making contact. Now, they still want to do damage. They were one of the best offenses in baseball before 2 strikes. When 2 strikes hit, they were one of the worst. So all of a sudden now it's like, hey, listen, stay with your approach, do damage. But with 2 strikes, let's make some more contact. Like positive outs with positive results on the back end of that. Now, all of a sudden, after working on that all winter, you bring in one of the elites in the game at that category. This guy does not swing and miss. He does not strike out. So now what the approach we're talking about these guys all winter long, we're now bringing in the player that actually is the perfect example of it. And those discussions continue, and I think more contact helps make you a much better offense.
How many times they strike out? 10 or more in a game?
91 games they struck out 10 or more times, which doesn't put any pressure on the defense whatsoever.
And I'd love to look at the numbers, how many times they did that with guys in scoring position.
Yeah.
There was a lot of those strikeouts came with men on second and third. You want fewer strikeouts from your offense, more strikeouts from your pitching staff. One guy brought in to do that is Aroldis Chapman. In just a few minutes, Chapman is going to sit down and talk to the media here in Fort Myers. We are going to bring bring that for you live over at the bench, as we call it, the media bench, where players come out here early on and meet up with the media. So Aroldis Chapman coming up live in just a bit. No doubt, though, you can feel the pep in the step here with these players. Since the news broke that Alex Bregman was coming to town, Duran sat at that bench yesterday, and as a guy coming off an all-star season, he talked about what Alex Bregman could mean to this team.
I'm excited. You know, he's a great player, and I know he's a winner, and I love to have that kind of mentality on the team.
When you look at what they did in the offseason, the pitchers they brought in, someone like him, what does that say about 2025 for this team?
Seems like we're going to be pretty good. You know, I always love to be the underdog, and I know there's always people counting us out, and I just can't wait to prove people wrong.
Bregman has a similar game to you, and he's intense. He plays hard. What are you excited about him?
I'm excited to have another guy like that in the clubhouse. You know, I feel like just kind of plays the game hard, plays the game right, and like just is going to be a good leader for us. That's what I'm excited about.
I love Duran coming off his first All-Star season saying, we're the underdog, I want to prove everybody wrong. He's like, I remember Dustin Pedroia sitting here once with me saying, I'm going to prove them all wrong. I was like, they named you MVP. Who are you trying to prove wrong? But that's the chip you want to play.
Yeah, it's Patriots-esque, right? Everybody's picking them to win the Super Bowl, and they come out with nobody believes in us. But, no, it is, and it's a good feeling. They've adapted, and some of these guys like, Duran loves that, right? Going out there to try to prove everybody wrong and prove that he can be consistent and do it again.
We've talked so much about the defensive issues on this team, but it wasn't in the outfield.
No.
That was a really good defensive outfield, and now Bregman starts to make that infield better. That could be one of the most important developments of this team is play better defense.
Trevor Story still is a key, right? Keeping him healthy, keeping him at shortstop. But Story, Bregman, Duran, Rafael Abreu, you have possibly 5 finalists for the Gold Glove, right? And we're talking about strength up the middle. Now, we still don't know what Bregman's going to be at second or third. Wherever it is, you've added Gold Glove and you added defense. You added more strikeouts in your staff, but it's still some ground ball guys there. That's going to help.
The combination of the two should make this pitching staff a whole lot better. Aroldis Chapman expected to be a key part of the late inning relief, signing some autographs a little earlier this morning. And in just a few moments, he'll sit down to talk to the media. You will hear from him live. One of the new relievers in camp, Aroldis Chapman, coming up next as we continue on 3:10 to left, presented by your New England Ford dealers. Welcome back. 3:10 to left, presented by your New England Ford dealers here at Fenway South. The Red Sox have gotten a lot of hype about the starting pitching they've added. One of the relievers they've added is expected to do great things and bring velocity from the left side. Aroldis Chapman, 15 years in the majors, 6 different teams. Last year with the Pittsburgh Pirates, is the all-time leader in strikeouts by a left-handed reliever, passing Billy Wagner last season. And his credit is throwing the fastest pitch in Major League history, 105.8 miles an hour. But that was 15 years ago with the Cincinnati Reds. Aroldis Chapman, now with the Red Sox, just sat down. Let's hear what he has to say.
Getting adjusted to Red Sox.
No, que ese sentido estar aquí en el campamento de los Medias Rojas del técnico.
No, me he sentido bien, contento y bien ansioso de poder empezar los juegos y todo.
Yeah, I feel really good, happy, and just anxious to get the game started.
How do you view your role coming in here? Obviously, the closing experience, but not in a few years full time. What did last year, I guess the end of last year, do to kind of help you get more into that rhythm of closing with Jordan?
Sí, en cuanto al rol suyo, obviamente tú has hecho un poquito de todo, pero al final de año estuviste cerrando, que si eso te ayudó ya para este año que viene, que estamos ahora.
Bueno, sí, no, me siento bien. Gracias a Dios tengo bastante experiencia en ese rol y los últimos años he venido trabajando en distintas partes de la final del juego y nada, me siento bien y contento y ¿sabes? En óptimas condiciones, gracias a Dios.
Yeah. I'm thankful that I have experience with that role of closing, and I think it helps me a lot to have that. But I also have experience in a number of different roles at the end of games, and yeah, I'm excited to get going. Obviously, you have a track record of success, but is there anything that you identified this offseason that you want to implement more into your game?
No, que obviamente tú tienes, has tenido mucho éxito en este juego, pero si hay algunas cosas que tú quisieras mejorar.
Nada, lo que he venido trabajando de la off-season es en la parte más débil mía, que la parte más débil mía es el control y he venido trabajando sobre eso, sobre el comando y hasta ahora vemos que vamos bien, solamente esperar que empiecen los juegos a ver cómo estamos.
Yeah, I've been working on what has been my weak point, which is just control. Having better command is something that I'm coming into this year really focusing on and working on. But obviously, I want to test it out in games and see how it goes.
What kind of what does that look like? What kinds of things have you been doing to try to work on that and hone that in, so you can bring it into games?
En específico, ¿hay algo que tú puedes dar una luz de algo que tú has estado trabajando para mejorar el control y eso?
Nada, como el pitching coach, tengo un entrenador aquí en Florida que me ha ayudado en los últimos años y hemos tenido resultados y nada, seguimos en ese proceso.
Yeah, I have a pitching coach here in Florida that I work with, and the last couple of years we've had some better results, and yeah, just continuing on that.
Aroldis, you pitched against the Red Sox in your team. It was a very good team, championship team. You've also pitched against some Red Sox teams that aren't so good. Do you think that some of that magic can come back to Fenway this year based on players that are prior, such as yourself?
Que tú te has enfrentado a los Medias Rojas varias veces, inclusive el equipo del 18 y también los otros equipos que no eran como equipos ganadores, con todas las adquisiciones que hemos hecho. ¿Tú crees que esa magia de un equipo ganador ha vuelto a este equipo?
Bueno, decirte, la organización es una organización ganadora. Dependiendo del equipo que tenga en el terreno en ese momento, pero es una organización que siempre está buscando ganar. Creo que sí, hemos cogido unos cuantos jugadores y lanzadores y creo que es algo muy bueno para el equipo. Y nada, esperar que el conjunto, ya el equipo esté completamente unido, juntos, en la práctica, en los juegos y ya, el terreno dirá lo próximo.
Yeah, I mean, this has been a winning organization. This is a winning organization, and I think they're wanting to win every year, and I think it's a great thing that we've picked up some players this year, and I just can't wait for all of us to be together here so that we can get the results that we're after.
You played for 15 years, you made a lot of money. What keeps you coming back to baseball every year?
No, que tú has jugado muchos años, has tenido la fortuna de ganar bien. ¿Qué te inspira a seguir haciendo esto, jugando?
Nada, este es el deporte que he hecho por muchos años, de niño, de mis inicios, y es el deporte que amo y me gusta lo que hago. Me siento en condiciones, en óptimas condiciones para seguir jugando al máximo nivel y creo que por eso estoy aquí todavía.
Yeah, this is a game that I've played since I was a kid, a game that I've loved, and it's what keeps bringing me back, just the ability to keep playing this game.
How long do you want to play?
No sé todavía, pero lo que pueda.
I don't know yet, but as long as I'm able to, I want to keep going.
You were one of the kind of pioneers when it came to elite velocity. It was a big deal when you were hitting triple digits on the radar gun when you first came here. Now that's less common. More guys are getting to 99 and 100. What do you think about that, how that's evolved in the game with that really elite velocity and guys hitting 100? And why do you think you were able to be one of the first to hit triple digits?
No, que tú eres uno de los pioneros el tipo de pelotero que puede tirar de 100 millas y para adelante, y él quiere saber cuál es tu tu opinión sobre esa evolución de lanzadores que tiran duro, que quieren tirar 99, 100 y para allá. ¿Cómo tú ves esa evolución?
Nada, creo que nada, el ser humano evolucionando y ahora mismo creo que el 99.9 de los lanzadores y muchos entrenadores que entrenan a jóvenes están entrenando y están tratando de lo que los lanzadores puedan hacerlo y puedan lanzar a alta velocidad. Es lo que pienso. Creo que también eso está causando muchas lesiones a muchos lanzadores.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of factors. I think 99.9% of pitchers that are coming up want to throw hard, and I think it's reinforced by a lot of pitching coaches who are training these guys to throw harder. And I think it's honestly contributed to a lot of injuries in the game.
You've been able to stay relatively healthy despite the really high velo readings. Why do you think that is? And does it feel less special to you now that you're not the only one hitting this kind of numbers?
No, que tú eres uno de los pocos que rara vez se lesiona siendo alguien que tira tan duro. Sorry, what was the last part of your question?
When he was one of the first to hit 100, it probably felt like he was unique. Fact that others do, how does that?
Que obviamente cuando tú eras uno de los primeros en tirar 100, tú eres uno de los únicos, pero ya con tanta gente que están tirando a 100, que si tú te sientes como menos especial de los demás.
No, me siento normal, eso es bueno para los lanzadores que quieran hacerlo y que puedan hacerlo. Yo solamente, yo me siento contento con lo que he podido hacer. Yo creo que unos 15 temporadas y voy para 16 en la liga pudiendo hacerlo, ¿sabes? Y todavía está saludable. Yo con eso estoy bien contento y orgulloso.
Yeah, I'm happy for those guys. I'm happy that they can do what they're doing. I feel really blessed that I've been able to have the career that I've had, going to my 16th season, and I'm really satisfied with that.
Why do you think you've stayed healthy while other guys have had injuries because of that elite velocity?
¿Cuál es la clave de tu salud? Mantenerlo comparado a los demás.
No, lo demás yo no sé lo demás. Yo solamente de mi parte, sí, lo que trabajo bien duro, día a día. Cuido lo que es mi cuerpo y mi brazo, lo cuido como oro. Y eso es a lo que me dedico, de cuidarme, de cuando estoy en la lomita o estoy lanzando, no hacer esfuerzo al máximo, no llevarme hasta el límite. Creo que esa es una de las cosas que están llevando a muchas lesiones, a muchos lanzadores, que llevan el brazo al límite y ahí cuando vienen las lesiones y nada, eso es lo que yo trato de hacer, de cuidarme y siempre estar ready para todo.
Yeah, I think the main thing is I take pride in taking care of my body, taking care of my arm. I take care of those two things like as if they were gold. And when I'm on the mound, I try not to take my arm to the limit. Like I feel like a lot of the injuries that happen are because guys are taking their body to the very limit, and I just try to monitor those things so that I don't, force it.
So when you hit 101, there's more there?
So cuando tú tiras 101, hay más otro nivel que tú puedes llegar.
quizás sí.
Yeah, maybe, I guess.
Aroldis, the closing job seems wide open here. Is it your goal to kind of come in here and win that, be there in the ninth inning on opening day?
No, que la posición de cerrador está como abierto para alguien tomarlo, que si eso es una meta tuya de ser el cerrador de este equipo.
Bueno, habemos varios lanzadores. Estamos en el Bullpen que hemos hecho este trabajo y nada, si está abierto, creo que competiremos, hacer el trabajo y ya después los dirigentes dirán qué hacer.
I think we have a lot of capable guys here. We all have experience with that role. And if it's a competition or whatever the case is, I think we're all just focused on doing the work that we have to do to get ready, and the front office, the people who are in charge to make those decisions, will make those decisions.
How old were you when you first hit 100?
¿Cuál fue tu edad cuando tu primer tiraste a 100, que tuviste que decía 100 ahí?
Que me acuerdo, no sé, como que me acuerdo, creo que no sé, como unos 18, algo así. No,
like,
no,
if I can remember
19,
correctly,
18, no.
if I can remember correctly, like 18, 19, around there.
You spent many years pitching for the Yankees, so the Red Sox biggest rivals. What was your rivalry experience with Boston then, and kind of what do you expect it to be like when the Red Sox play the Yankees this year and you're on the other side?
Que tú has tenido el chance de participar en la rivalidad de los Yankees y Boston, pero del lado de los Yankees, ya que tú estás de este lado.
All right, that's Aroldis Chapman. He is talking to the media as we speak. A big addition to the back end of the bullpen, along with this guy, Liam Hendriks. Added him last year, but he couldn't quite get back from the Tommy John surgery. 6 minor league rehab appearances, but he ran out of time. He'll be vying for the closer's role. We'll talk about the bullpen and talk more about Duran. All that coming up as we continue on 3:10 to left, presented by your New England Ford dealers. All right, we are back here in Fort Myers. You just heard from Aroldis Chapman. We're continuing on 3:10 to left, presented by your New England Ford dealers. Tom Caron along with Lou Merloni. Guy's a freak.
Yeah.
You know, there's no doubt about it. We know there were some personal issues. He says he has atoned for those things, and he's apologized. So Red Sox did their due diligence, and they think he's ready to be a good citizen and to help this team. How does he help this team? Not just were they short on left-handed relief, they were short on velocity last year. He certainly brings both.
And they were short on swing and miss, and this is what this guy does. I mean, he's one of the elite swing and miss guys. He's 99th, 98th percentile in K rate, whiff rate. Now, first percentile, he walks more than anybody in baseball, right? He can walk with guys, we know that. However, the swing and miss is there, and you can get out of some jams. Every once in a while, talking to all these guys, talking about velocity and swing and miss, how important it is. Second and third, 1 out. I need the punch out. I got to get the strikeout and the pop fly. Get out of that inning. And it's just too much contact up and down this whole staff. So he brings power from the left side. He brings experience from the left side. So he's a great addition for them.
Talking to some of the Pittsburgh people last year, they said watch the breaking stuff, because he said when he loses his way with the slider a little bit, it carries over to the fastball, and all of a sudden everything's out of whack. They said keep an eye on that. He's made adjustments over time, moving where he is on the rubber to try to keep things in, but it's obviously all based off the fastball for him. But it is the secondary stuff that can lead him into trouble as far as command goes.
Yeah, he had 68 games last year. I think he had 3 games where he walked 3 people. 10 games were multiple. But the other 58 can be dominant. As we mentioned the other day, this guy's played 15 years in the league. He had 1 season, I believe in 2017, where hitters hit 200. 200. That's it. No one's ever hit over 200 on this guy. It's like 168 in his career. He doesn't give up hits. He doesn't give up damage, hard contact. He's a weapon. We always talk about, you can walk some guys, but more times than not, you kind of after 3 hitters, you're leaving there with a loss.
If you were doing power rankings for who's going to be the closer, Liam Hendriks at the top.
Yes.
It's sort of his job to lose. He's got the experience. Aroldis Chapman would be one of the next options. Does that occasional wildness make you less confident that he could be the closer?
I don't think so. I don't. I just feel that it's the perfect combination to have lefty-righty closer, and if one of them can stand out, right? If we ever talk about bullpen by committee, if I have a closer that I'm giving the ball to 9th, and you look at the way Kenley was last year, he got the 9th. But then Chris Martin is he going to go the 7th? Is he going to go the 8th? Well, let's see where we are in the order. Chapman could be the same way. Is it 2 out of 3 lefties in the 7th? Top of the order, 2 through 4? Let's give it to Chapman. So I think the flexibility you have there, I think, really helps. And on a given night, maybe that 9th inning is lefty loaded and he gets it.
They're talking about a 6-man rotation from time to time. So those 1-inning guys, like you got Whitlock, who's going to be able to go a couple innings, but that means he's going to be down for a day or two after that. How important is it to have those guys available most nights?
Yeah, it is. And I think Chapman, you can expect that. Liam We're going to see. You know, I mean, he couldn't come back last year, but a healthy offseason. So I think he's really happy about where he's at right now. But that's something you got to keep an eye on, and that's where Chapman could come into play, right? If they want to be careful with Hendriks early on, coming off Tommy John last year, you know, maybe that second night Chapman gets the ninth, that we can give Hendriks a little blow, which would be nice.
We were talking to Garrett Whitlock a little bit this morning, kind of the forgotten guy. He talked about all the additions to this team. Well, if you get Garrett Whitlock, who is now committed to being a reliever, and you get him to be anything close to what he was in 2021 when he was maybe the MVP of this staff, what does that mean to this team?
Well, it's huge. And, you know, you understand how good he was, them saying, well, maybe we can get him to go 6 innings, you know, and be a starter. But there was some health concerns, and quite frankly, he wasn't that starter that was so good that you're like, okay, is he a 1, is he a 2? If he's not a 1 or a 2, if he's going to be a 4 or 5 type of guy, put him where he's great, you know, which is where they have him right now. So whether it's 1 inning on a night, 2 innings, 3 innings to finish out a game, that can really help a bullpen and just refresh it, right? And give everybody an extra day off.
He's back, says he's healthy, says he's ready to go, and that is great news for the Red Sox, no doubt about that. Sox feel better about the bullpen. I think that's been one of the quieter stories of the offseason, right? Even guys like Michael Fulmer and Justin Wilson, guys with resumes, they feel they've done a good job at the depth.
Yeah, they have. And again, I think the big part now in baseball is having guys with options. That's just the way the game is, right? And the Red Sox right now, there's 5 or 6 or 7 guys in that bullpen that have options that can go up and down. You know, if you use a guy 3 days in a row, you know, whatever it may be, hey, he can't pitch for 2 or 3 days. You maybe make a move. You can bring him up a couple weeks later. So having that flexibility on that back end of the bullpen is just as important.
That's what good teams have.
Yes.
They have the depth, they have the flexibility, and they have the guys waiting to help in AAA. We'll come back with more as we wrap up the first week of pitchers and catchers. Next week, it'll be the full team here working out. Maybe Alex Bregman expected to be on time and be part of that. 3:10 to left, presented by your New England Ford dealers, comes back after this. We welcome you back. 3:10 to left, presented by your New England Ford dealers. As we wrap things up, the expectation is Alex Bregman will walk through that door next to us, probably sometime this weekend. You got a guy who walks in expected to become the leader of this team immediately. How does that happen? How does that manifest itself? What makes him different in this clubhouse?
His experience, but I also think it's organic. You know what I mean? I just think the way he carries himself and walks in there and the discussions he's having, people will gravitate to that. But really it comes down to the experience. Listen, we're expecting now this team to be a playoff team. Okay, everybody looks at the team, the roster that they've built. It'd be nice to have someone on your team that's experienced that before. You know, and Alex Bregman's played 99 playoff games. Devers 26, Trevor Story 5. The rest of the team, 0. So, you know, if you're going to get to the postseason, let's have a guy that's been there before to have some discussions. Again, Devers has as well, but not much experience in the postseason. He brings it.
It's interesting, right, because the pitchers do. You bring in Buehler, who's won a couple, and you bring in, you know, even guys like Garrett Whitlock pitched in 21, right? Giolito has won it. So you've got it on the pitching side. You don't have it on the position player side, but you do now with Bregman.
Yeah, and that's why it's important to get. We talked last year. Is it important to get to the postseason, even if you don't win the World Series? Yeah, because that experience matters. Because a lot of guys do go into that first postseason. The game speeds up on them, and maybe they fail. But that experience from the year before helps them. You look at the 2018 team. Some of those young kids in 16 and 17, they couldn't get it done. Then all of a sudden, a little more experience comes in here. They get some of that experience as well, and you perform at a high level. So when you get there, it's nice to have someone that's done it with the young kids as well.
Took us about 36 hours from the announcement of the Bregman news to talking about 2018. Didn't take long.
No, it didn't.
The expectation.
We're not going to predict the World Series.
Let's go. We're doing it. We're doing it. We're expecting big things from this team. We're expecting Alex Bregman to come through. Stay with us throughout spring training. We come your way with Red Sox and Fort Myers tonight. The new ace going to join us, Garrett Crochet. Going to be fun to talk to him as he wraps up his first days in a Red Sox uniform. We thank you for watching. We come back next week. Keep it tuned all weekend and check out NESN.com to find out just when Alex Bregman walks through that door.